If Webster's dictionary featured a graphic description next to the phrase elitist liberal, it should be this one. Yes, Joy Behar, co-host of The View, darling of the regressive left. Behar embodies everything about an elitist liberal. She thinks she's smarter than us. She thinks she's better than us. She wants to tell us all how to live. And the worst part is that Joy usually has no idea what she's talking about. She's like so many on mainstream television today, a clueless talking head who thinks they're a star, a puppet whose strings are pulled by those orchestrating the anti-Trump, anti-American agenda of the violent left. Nowhere is this more obvious than when Behar makes one of her all-too-frequent anti-gun accusations. Behar's co-host, Jedediah Bila, spoke in support of a new Texas law that allows licensed to carry holders to carry concealed on college and campus universities. Here's what she had to say.
I'm not a gun owner. I spend a lot of time with gun owners. I spent a lot of time in Texas. And when you study these shootings, what you find out is that a lot of these lunatics, these maniacs, target gun-free zones.
She's right. In fact, intellectually honest people can't disagree with Bila's argument. But Joy Behar is not intellectually honest. You see, things like facts, like the truth, like common sense, they don't matter to her.
What about the professors who give you an F? I'd be scared to teach in that class.
She really thinks if you post a sign saying no guns allowed, the criminals will obey. She thinks that some student, because they get an F, is going to come shoot up his professor. Look, if I were a professor and some kid came at me with a gun, I'd want to be armed. I'd want the opportunity to defend myself. I'd want to be in a classroom full of good guys and gals who are trained and prepared to use a firearm. That's what stops a deranged student from shooting a professor he or she is mad at. But Joy, here's what won't stop someone determined to commit violence with a firearm: your dishonesty or resounding ignorance. Either way, it puts our country's colleges in danger. It helps to keep professors defenseless. It makes our students vulnerable. And it leaves college women without an equalizer. Just ask rape survivor Kim Corban, a friend of mine, why she advocates for the Second Amendment. And maybe you'll understand why our young men and women should be allowed to protect themselves with a firearm. After all, it is their right, you know. They deserve the same safety you get from your armed guards in your studio, the same studio where you make your senseless claims. Because, Joy, the gun control you support doesn't safeguard the innocent. It empowers the violent, the psychotics, the angry, the criminals who will use a bat, a car, a bomb, a knife, or their bare hands if they are determined to cause harm. Don't give the bad guys the upper hand, Joy Behar. And while I'm at it, if you're going to talk about suppressors, please learn what they are. Listen to this.
Now, if you're at the airport and you're on level 2 and there's a gunfight on level 1, you should be able to hear that so that you can get the hell out of there. So on top of all this, they want to put a silencer on. Now that is when you want to kill somebody and you don't want anybody to hear you. What is going on?
Thank you for explaining the silencer.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining the silencer. Explaining it? I don't think so. These ladies actually believe each other's bullcorn. That's not what suppressors do. They are not made for when you want to kill people and not have anyone hear it. They are far, and I mean far, from silent. Joy Behar and the rest of the crew on The View have clearly been watching too many movies. Sadly, as usual, they are speaking on something they have no idea about. And Joy Behar, if you are too lazy to educate yourself before speaking to your ever-dwindling audience, then have one of your many assistants do it for you. And if they are unavailable, Joy, you can always ask me. I'm more than happy to help if you're willing to listen. I don't think you are.